You're listening to the Late Night Football Show with your host, Rohit Singh. That's me. On this show, we talk about some of the most serious, least silly topics from the world of football for your entertainment and enjoyment. Please remember that the show is BYOL. Bring your own laughs, since we don't have the budget for a studio audience. Happy listening.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Late Night Football's Premier League preview series for 2020-2021. This is the last show in the three-part series. If you have missed the previous episodes on Liverpool and Manchester City and Manchester United and Chelsea, please check it out at the end of this episode. The link will pop up at the end, so don't miss it. Do watch it. Really worth the watch, and lots of digs, lots of exciting analysis and banter that we've had on that. So please do remember to check that out. And please also remember to like and share this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. As you said, we want to get to 50 subscribers by the end of this series. So please help us reach that goal. We really appreciate your support. Welcome back, Adarsh, Pushkar, Sahil, and Siddhant. Thank you so much for being here again. This is the last time I'm going to welcome you on this show, but thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Hey, it's nice to be here.
Yes, so we still have got a few things to discuss, so let's get right into it. We're going to talk today about the rest of the teams in the league, since we've done the top four from last season. So we're going to talk about the rest of the teams, and we'll start with Arsenal. And FA Cup final win, Community Shield final win. Had a pretty decent times under Arteta, not necessarily championship winning form or even top four winning form, but they seem to be on that right track. Is there like a resurgence on the horizon? And I think the two best people to ask are the fans of the two clubs who suffered at the hands of Arsenal. So let's start with you, Adarsh, since you saw them in the FA Cup FA Cup semi-final. What do you think? What do you think about
Arsenal would be like, for me, I'll be predicting them at fifth place because we have seen the glimpse of what Arteta can do. He has already got 2 silverwares under his belt, and when it comes to experience and being like from the club itself, he has been an Arsenal player for some time, and he know all the policies, like what kind of policies goes through the club, and all the loopholes and the weaknesses from the perspective of the rival itself, because he has been an assistant manager to Pep, and he has analyzed Arsenal before, like what are the wrongs, what are the rights, what are the weakness. And now he is the manager, so he knows his club's strength and weakness as well. So yeah. And working under like the best manager in the world, like Pep, he has been his student, so he has learned a lot from him.
Why aren't the dogs barking now?
That was good. Okay, you have to cut there.
No. All right. No. So okay. So Pushkar, do you agree? Do you think that there is that Arsenal on the right way up? Maybe not top 4, but they're getting there.
Yeah, I think they are playing decent under Arteta. Like if I was solely to go on how they set up for the Community Shield, that was quite defensive, I would say, and everything seems to be going through Aubameyang. So if he doesn't perform, they certainly lack a potent attacking threat. I think there is a resurgence. This season might be obviously better than last season for them, but I think I will predict a 6th finish for them.
Okay. Well, we'll do the predictions in a bit, but for sure, yeah, that it definitely seems that they're on the right track, and it's good for them as well to be playing Europa this season. I think that will really help them as well. Move on. So, talking about another club, and from North London, I'm talking about Tottenham Hotspur. By all accounts, had a really bad season last time around. And maybe it was necessary after all the highs that they had the previous season. I think it was necessary for them to have a come down. They're actually going to have a really early start of the season with the Europa League. But in terms of transfers, the players that they've signed so far, you've got Joe Hart, you've got Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, and you've got Matt Doherty. Decent players, but not necessarily the kind of caliber that you would expect, for a team that wants to be challenging for the Champions League. I mean, is it Spurs being stingy? Is it them taking calculated risk? And I think Siddhant, being a Chelsea fan, you probably know how Mourinho works. Does it seem Mourinho? This seems very un-Mourinho-like, doesn't it?
The point is that I don't think this is in the hands of Mourinho at all. It's the Daniel Levy and the board which is working at Spurs, and Spurs are always stingy. You know,
Well,
they are always stingy, and
but can
they
you
never.
blame them? But can you blame them? They sign Ndombele for a big amount, and you saw how that's worked out. So can you blame them?
I know, and they just don't seem ambitious enough. I mean, it's like they want the squad to perform well. You know, once I think they came close to challenging for the title, but they are far off from doing anything great in Champions League, and I don't think they are going to improve much in the Premier League as well. Uh, I think if in hindsight, Pochettino was actually the best manager for them.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, there was a time in the last season when you know the game came Chelsea versus Spurs, and Spurs were just 3 points behind Chelsea at fifth position, and they failed to capitalize over there. And look where they finished.
Yeah.
So and even with the current signings, I don't think they're going to do wonders because the other clubs are doing much better signings, and in terms of star quality and in general, in terms of the players, and the other clubs are quite ahead of them. And I'm a fan of Mourinho, but I would still say that Mourinho is not the Mourinho of Chelsea, or I would say that he's still at that level, but others have evolved, and he has not. So
Mourinho still have fans?
All right. Well, Sahil, being a Man United fan, you've seen where the kind of signings that he likes to make. I mean, is he going to prioritize? Is he like looking at like players like from prioritizing the Europa because that's going to be the best way for him to get into Champions League next season? Is that where he's looking at, or?
Um, so I think you need to wait for like one more season before Mourinho starts ranting about the lack of money he's given, because second season is when the downfall starts. But I think I'm actually impressed by their signings this season, but I don't think Mourinho has it in him to take him to the next level, because even last season, like the games we called were Mourinho masterclasses, like the 2-0 versus City or the 3-0 versus Leicester. I think they got extremely lucky in both the games. Like they shouldn't have won any of those games, but that's why I think Spurs are a very talented squad, but like they still need a backup for Harry Kane. That guy is injured for 3 months every season, so they don't have a backup for that. And in general, I think Mourinho is outdated. He has done nothing to suggest to now
exactly,
that he's going to upgrade himself to be a more modern coach. So I think they might even finish a little worse than last season, because Europa League is gonna
exactly,
take a lot out of them. I think they're starting in the second qualifying round, so you have third qualifying round. I don't know if there's a playoff, but if not, then there's group stage. You go to all these different countries far away, so I don't think it's ideal, especially in such a season where the schedule is so cramped. It's good business, but I think the manager is the issue. That's what I think.
Well, I mean,
But
I think they might just be saying, you know what, as long as we get 40 points, we survive in the league, and then we'll just put all our eggs in the Europa League basket and try to qualify. Because I think that is probably the best way. But Pushkar, you had something you wanted to add to this?
Yeah, I think I'm just a little bit unorthodox with this one. In the sense, I think Mourinho knows how to set up his teams. He's a very resilient manager. Yes, I think maybe here, what do you say, the game has evolved from what he can actually provide. But in terms of experience, I think he will set up the teams better than what Ole and Arteta will. And might even, I think there will be a close fight for the fourth spot, but I think Spurs might get that.
oh,
That's a bold prediction, but wow.
Told you, very unorthodox, but
Okay.
I'm purely basing this on the way he sets up his teams, and obviously he is not probably the way forward for Spurs as well. And in hindsight, yes, Pochettino was the better call, but yeah, I think he might just get lucky with that one.
Yeah,
I just think that Spurs and Mourinho is not a good combination. Actually, should not have happened in the first place, and not sure how long it will last. You know.
I think
well,
it's
Can't do
also
anything.
there that he's already started like having rifts with some players, like him and Ndombele. I don't know what's happening over there. And Ndombele wants to leave, but such a talented player, and he's gonna go. I think Dele Ali he started very well when Mourinho came, but he also went under the radar. So if his star performers aren't performing to their talents like how we seen before, like Dele Ali is a 20 goal scorer per season. He's started I think once or twice, and so I think it's probably a manager issue. I still think that.
Right.
well, we shall see. Stranger things happen this season. We'll know how it goes. Maybe he'll finish fourth, and then he'll say that was his biggest accomplishment ever as a manager. That's what he called second, right? You never know with Mourinho what you get. Yeah, and
Exactly that.
yeah, and speaking of Europa League, Leicester City sadly had to play in Europa League next season, not Champions League. Or sadly for some, happy for others. But yeah, but finishing fifth. I mean, do you think those others? Do you think that's going to affect them this season, like in terms of playing in the Europa League? We just talked about it affecting Spurs. It probably might affect Leicester. Do you think they can repeat? Do you think they can challenge for the top four by playing in Europa?
Uh,
Or
I think it totally depends on their luck because they have good quality first team players, but they need their fitness luck with them because they have signed they lost Chilwell to Chelsea, but they signed a replacement for him in like Timothy from Atlanta, who had who had a very good season with Atlanta, and Atlanta was actually the goal scoring team like, in the whole Europe. He's having that mentality of like a good positive mentality, and bringing that positive mentality to Leicester is just an add-on to whatever they had. And like as Mourinho used to say, like saving the best players is same as buying new players. So they saved the best players in the name of Madison and Vardy. So yes, it is a good thing for them. And if the fitness goes with them, I think they'll be good enough to like compete for the Champions League spot, maybe.
yeah, I mean, and again, same with them. They might even prioritize the Europa League over the Champions, over the finishing top four. Like try to get through that. I mean, that this is it's actually nice to have like a Champions League spot with the Europa League because it makes teams take it more seriously. Teams like Leicester, Wolves, who they know that that's a path for them. But same thing.
United must have known this very like thoroughly, right? By
I'm
spending
sorry,
so much time there.
me.
United must have known this very
Oh
thoroughly
yeah,
by spending so much time there.
of course.
At least we won that once, right? So there's some title to show for it, unlike you
Yes.
guys.
Yeah,
No, to be
that's
fair,
where we
I've
lack.
always loved the Europa League, even when it was called the UEFA Cup back when Middlesbrough, I think, went to the final. I've been watching it since then, so I've always loved the UEFA Cup, Europa League. But I'm always sad to hear English teams don't take it seriously. But yeah, I've loved it for a long time. It's a wonderful competition, according to me, anyway. But then I think with my emotions and not with business mind, so I understand the sense for that. But Sahil, what do you think about Leicester's chances in the league this season?
So I think Leicester still need more backups because I think they were looking out of their depth towards the end of
Yes.
after restart because they were very tired. I think centre back they didn't have a lot of backup apart from Evans and Soyuncu. Ricardo Pereira, who's like the one of the main creators, he's been out. He's gonna be out till December, I think, with an ACL. So they need. I think they got James Dustin promoted from the youth academy, but he's not an attacking fullback. Similarly, I think they even need a replace a backup for Jamie Vardy. I think Iheanacho is there, but I don't know if he's a direct replacement for him. So I think Leicester might be a little too thin to deal with Europa and maintaining their fifth place or challenging for fourth in the league. So I think this might it's natural to see that happens with like every team that makes it to Europa League that they end up going a little like they end up not doing so well in the league in the next season unless you're Wolves who managed it pretty well. So I'm not sure if they'll be as good as last season. They look really thin, and they haven't really signed enough replacements for the team.
Mhm. For sure. Let's talk about a few mid-table clubs, perennial mid-table clubs, who I every season think that they will do something, but they disappoint me every season. Maybe this will be different. Everton, West Ham, and Wolves. Let's start with you, Adarsh. How do you think those three teams are going to do this season? Do you think Everton?
Uh,
Everton made some good signings. West
Yeah, for
Ham.
me, Everton would be the one to watch, the dark horse for me, because I'll be eager to watch them. Because from like Andre Gomez, like Tom Davis, Yamin, like they have changed the midfield to Allen, James Rodriguez, and Dacore. Like they have got quality players now, and
Mhm.
fighting for the Europa is the least you can expect from them because they have got good manager. Ancelotti is a very good manager. He has some very good experience under his belt, Champions League experience under his belt. So he knows the pressure on certain big occasions as well. All he needs to do is get some commitment and consistency from his players. If he gets that commitment and consistency, I think he'll finish for the Europa League spot. And he has got that players who can perform for him, but the commitment is the least he needs from the player.
What do you think about Wolves?
And yeah, Wolves is something uh, which will be good again this season as well because they kept their best players with themselves as well, like Ruben Neves and Jimenez as well. So they might also be competing for Europa League as well. And whereas when it comes to West Ham, they are a disastrous club. I'm seeing them relegated because Moyes was like even struggling to get a first win with that club, and like it's just a disastrous club. I don't see them in like Europa League or something. I just see them in the bottom half of the league or relegation.
Sahil, do you agree with that assessment of David Moyes? I mean, former United manager, but
Yeah, I don't think West Ham are going to be in the upper half of the table. I think they might still finish like 12, 13, like relatively safe compared to last season because it all depends on Mikel Antonio's fitness. I think he came back after restart and I think he scored 4 versus Norwich, some like goals here and there. I think he had like 8 or 9 goals after lockdown. It also, I think they got Jared Bowen from Hull City in January and he's done really well. So I think if they can click, they can probably um,
yeah,
finished 12th, 11th. I think even the new midfielder, Susak, he's done really well from midfield. He
yeah.
scored goals. Declan Rice isn't being sold, so. But I still don't trust David Moyes with this team. I think this he just doesn't inspire confidence in like as a fan or as a neutral watcher.
Yeah, I mean, I think West
Just
Ham.
another United manager who sucks. So nothing special.
I think he's just it's also true that he's been as good as Guardiola in Europe when in England. Like they have the same record, quarterfinal exit.
Insert shot fired.
But still, Guardiola
Background
has
music.
got 2 Champions League and
Yeah,
Moyes
I'm saying
none.
just in
So,
England. Last
oh yeah,
but
agree to that.
Well,
But I'm actually excited about Wolves though because I think Wolves without Europa they might be pushing for fourth place if they can find a replacement for their fullbacks. I think Doherty left and Johnny is out with an ACL again, so they've
oh,
kept most of their team. I think they're a very fit team. They could like do so well with Europa last season. So without Europa, they might be doing even better. I don't know. Could be like a dark horse for fourth or fifth or something.
well, they do have Luke Matheson, who they signed. I don't know if you
Yeah,
remember him,
yeah,
but Rochdale player, 16-year-old,
yeah.
scored against Manchester United.
Scored
I'm
against us.
excited
Yeah,
if he gets a chance. I'm excited to see him. I think
yeah.
someone who could be good. Everton, for you, Sahil, where do you think? Where do you see them?
Oh, Everton, it's a curious case because I think Rodriguez might be more of a luxury signing. I don't know if because he's 29 already. He's not like he's 26, 27. He's actually pretty on the other side of almost 30. So he, I don't know if he has the intensity to like press and stuff in midfield if he's going to play in a Premier League midfield. So that is very important. But they have an exciting team. I think Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin, they are doing pretty well up front. Uh, Doucouré should be a good signing. I think he was a little underappreciated when he was at Watford. He's a very powerful player. Allen, I really haven't seen too much, so I can't comment. But I still don't know if they'll finish in like 6 or 7. I think they'll probably end up like 8 or 9. Typically, where Everton finish normally. Nothing
Pushka's
different.
smiling on the inside when you say that. What typical Everton. But we have one more team to cover, and I don't think there's been this much excitement around the promoted team. I can't remember the last time. Maybe Wolves, maybe sometime before that. But Leeds are going to be back in the Premier League this season. Marcelo Bielsa's first season in the Premier League ever. Somebody who we've heard a lot about, but that actually ever. Not, I don't think many of us have seen him manage. But really excited to see that. Pushkar, what are you expecting from Leeds and Marcelo Bielsa next season? I think what can we expect? Leeds again?
There was a good series about what do you say what was the last question? I'm sorry, I couldn't
No, I
hear
was just
you.
saying Dirty Leeds, right? That's their nickname, Dirty Leeds.
Yeah. And there was some scandal about Spygate.
Yes.
But yeah, there is one series in Amazon Prime. It's called Take Us Home, Leeds United.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing was, it like touches upon that subject, obviously, about the club, like how they got a new owner 3 or 4 years ago, then followed by the Bielsa appointment, and like how he has transformed the club and the city and everything, like every person who supports that club and plays for the club in a certain sense of unity, you could say. There's certain unity and purpose behind how they play. Like the season before last, they failed to qualify. They were playing very good throughout the season, but towards the end, they had a round of bad fixtures, failed to qualify for the playoffs, failed to qualify through the direct championship spots, then failed in the playoff against Aston Villa.
Yeah.
So they improved upon that and outright won the league championship the last season. But they had a like very good attacking and defense approach. Everything was very good for them, but they seem to not have retained Ben White, who was a very key central figure in their defensive unit. And that could make or break their season in a way, like because people are used to playing in a certain setup. So to adjust to new players, the new league, everything might be a bit too much for them, but they won't be in the relegation battle. There are worse teams in the Premier League there. I think,
as others said, there's West Ham.
yeah, I agree with the Man City fan. Yeah.
Um, Siddhant, there's a bit of a rivalry with Chelsea and Leeds.
Oh yes.
Yes. Well, there's a rivalry with Manchester United as well. But what do you expect? What are you expecting from Leeds? And what they signed Rodrigo, right? They've just broken the record to sign Rodrigo. They want to sign another Rodrigo De Paul. So they want to build a team of Rodrigos. But what are you expecting from Leeds and Marcelo Bielsa?
Basically, I'm expecting really good derby games. That's the first thing, because there has been in the olden times, I would say, when we were not born, there have been rivalries between Leeds and United and Leeds and Chelsea.
The lack of fans
And
might affect that, but yeah. No.
yeah, but I think those are set to be reignited, and I don't expect them to get relegated this season. I expect them to be fighting to be in the top half of the table. Not sure if they'll get there, but I expect them to be around middle table somewhere. Because I have not followed their games, but from what I've heard and seen, Bielsa is a really good manager, and he'll try to get the best out of his players. Uh, so I think they should be comfortable with respect to survival, and I'm expecting to see some really good derby
Fireworks.
games, and some red
I
cards.
think Chelsea versus Leeds will be again a good match.
I
I
know.
think because Frank Lampard was in Derby when this Spygate happened, and
Yeah.
he has a little bit of history with Bielsa. Let's see.
Sure, yeah, I think they'll definitely bring some fireworks to the league. I think that's definitely
Exactly.
that's what we're all expecting. But all right, so we've covered not every team, but we've done our team previews, and I think thank you so much for those opinions. We'll get into some bits and bobs now, and we'll talk about VAR. I think everybody's favorite topic, videos. I mean, there was a ruling that came out recently about the changes to the VAR for next season. And Adarsh, I know you've followed that and you've seen the changes. What are your thoughts on what's going to happen with VAR next season? What are you expecting? What do you want to see from?
VAR in England would be the best VAR in the world, and believe me, it will be best because they have already won the league for Liverpool. And like, what else does it take to
You're
make it better?
just you're just
So
making
yes, it
excuses
will
right
be
now,
the best
man.
VAR in the league from this season. That's all my. That will be my take for this VAR.
I'm still processing that. Okay, that was a very short answer. But Siddhant, what are you expecting from VAR? What do you wanna see?
Yeah, so Mourinho in one of his interviews, Mourinho had said that the referee is not really the referee. The referee on the pitch is not the referee. He is the assistant referee, and which is actually true. That was true. So I would like, I don't exactly remember what the new rules were, but I would like the referee on the pitch to actually have the screen on which he himself can see the replay and then be able to make the decision himself because he's the actual referee on the ground, so he's seeing it live and he's then seeing it replay and he can come to a more rational decision. And VAR should also be able to look into yellow cards. I mean, the second yellow cards also affect the match. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not in the last season they were just looking into red cards. They were not looking into second yellow cards, which is bizarre because second yellow is also a red. It can affect the match a lot. So
Yeah.
it just reminds me of the FA Cup final. It seems that Kovacic didn't deserve the second yellow card, but because there was no provision in VAR to recheck for the second yellow and overrule that decision, it stood. So I think that those are some of the kinks which need to be worked out.
What's the over under on penalties being awarded via VAR to Manchester United? Is there a guess? Any guess for penalties? No. Okay. No, I think we already did that last time. We won't do that again. But I think what we want is we don't want to be talking about VAR at the end of every game, at the end of every week. I think that would be a good success for VAR if we don't talk.
Exactly.
I think that's
Correct.
that's important. And maybe, as others said, maybe that those kinks will be fixed now. But We'll see. Let's hope for that. I think there was already a rule about this, but Sahil, do you think? I mean, it's going to be 3 subs next season, not 5 subs. 3 subs from 7, going back to the traditional route. Do you agree with that? Do you think it should be 3 from 7, or did you prefer 5 from 9?
I think it should be 3 from 7 because, like, see, for clubs like say Man City or Chelsea, who have like Man City has like a literally a alternative 11. Chelsea got like 6 players signed this season. I think it's a little bit unfair to clubs like Burnley, who don't have that much squad depth, or even like the clubs like in lower table, mid table. I think that just like is unfair to the competition. So I think it should go back to 3 subs. Um,
Which is what it
yeah,
was. Yeah. Okay. You agree.
yeah, I think that's what I think because it's just more advantage to the bigger teams. Same for like and United included in that. I think like we have more squad depth than some low table teams, so it's just like deserves a competition. That's all.
Yeah. Well, there will be a lot of games, so we'll see how players cope with
Yeah,
that. But it will mean more squad rotation. One thing pet peeve for a lot of people: water breaks. Pushkar, do you think there should be water breaks still? I don't know if they're going to be there this.
I know, I don't think there is any reason to have them right now.
Uh-huh.
Like, I think it was mostly because we were getting back into the groove and they had to play a lot of fixtures towards the end of last season when the project restart happened. Uh, don't see any point in having water breaks.
Yeah.
I
Just
think
Yeah,
that
continue
was
like
because
also because of
players already have the unofficial water break when someone just
Exactly.
pass the ball outside or
yeah.
someone gets injured. So like they and plus the goalkeeper always have a bottle
because they
beside
are
him. So
used
like
to drink.
no point.
I
It's
know.
not.
I
And they are
just hate the
professionals, so
water
like
breaks,
they
you know.
can play
Does the
45 minutes, like even if they don't have water besides them. So like it's good.
the water break also was because it was summer, right? So it was more heat. I think now
Yeah.
when you're back in the
Yeah,
normal
so
calendar
like,
year, we should be
These are
okay.
water breaks even when there's raining. Like when summer is raining and they would have a water break. So I don't.
Yeah, that too. I guess it was just like a norm at that point, but I don't think they'll have it anymore.
Pushkar, you had a point
And
that you were
talk
making. I'm sorry. I think you got
no,
cut.
no, I just agree with that. Like, there's no point in having water breaks right now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and on a separate note, talking about the breaks, I don't prefer water breaks, but maybe the Premier League should think about winter breaks. You know.
Yeah. What?
I
That's not
think the
happening this
fixture
year.
congestion thing has
Yeah, they did it. They did
is
it
a
last year. They had a winter break. They're not gonna have one this year. No, that's not gonna
no,
happen.
but
From
their
the
winter break
perspective
is
of
like
professional
mostly.
footballers, yes, they should have, but from the perspective of
Yeah,
fans, no, they should not have.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, the Premier League officially
Good for
has a
the
winter
players.
break, a 2 week winter break, but
No,
it won't happen this year.
they have a winter break, but they then put in 15 games in December. Then so what is like
Exactly.
Yeah.
that
It's
is more like
absolutely
a double
crazy the December schedule. Like it gets too much as a fan also sometimes. Like how many
maybe
I
games
know.
can
if
you
you want
watch?
to have
It
like
makes
5 subs
Premier League
on water
special,
break,
like
that
it makes
you
Premier
might.
League demanding. Like
Yeah.
it, like for me,
Yeah,
actually.
it's
Yeah, that's
ultimately
fair.
an entertainment sport. So good for us, good for the viewers.
Mm-hmm. Well, for sure. Well, I mean, yeah, winter break. I don't know. Well, I mean, in any case, they're gonna have a winter break in 2022 when we have the World Cup, because that's it's gonna be in the
Oh yeah.
winter, so they're gonna have a winter break at that point.
Qatar.
But anyway, all right. So we've got that. Let's get into a little bit of prediction stuff, and let's talk about the player you guys are most excited to see. Could be a new signing, could be someone who's already at a club, someone who you're expecting big things from this season. Others, do you have a player in mind who you want to see? Maybe from your club.
Yeah, when it comes to like a young player to watch, it would be Ferran Torres from City, who has been a superstar at Valencia, who has like a young prospect. So young player would be Ferran, and when it comes to experience one, it has to be James Rodriguez, like hot name in
Mhm.
Premier League.
No,
So
I think
that's for me.
yeah, I think James Rodriguez. I think he's someone I think that a lot of people would want to see. What the hype is about. Pushkar.
If I was to talk about Liverpool, I would say Keita. I expect if he goes injury free, he might have a good performance overall in the season. And if I talk about rest of the league, I am interested to see how Danny Ings performs because I think he led Southampton pretty well last season, and Southampton started playing well as well. Uh, and Ings and Pulisic, I think these two are the rest of the league lookouts for me. I think Pulisic also started playing well, and he starts this season. He was injured for most of last season, so
Okay, no, that's wonderful. Siddharth.
Kai Havertz signs. You know, he's going to be coming in for
Hmm.
big money,
Mm-hmm.
and I think all eyes are going to be on him. You know, and in many ways, I think he's being touted as the replacement for Hazard, which we couldn't sign last season. You know,
Mm.
so obviously there are going to be a lot of eyes on him, and with that kind of big money,
All right,
yes.
Sahil.
So from a United perspective, obviously if Jadon Sancho signs, then he's gonna be the one everyone has an eye on. But right now, it would be nice to see Paul Pogba perform without the expectation that he has to do everything for the team, because there's like Bruno Fernandes, there's Martial, there's Rashford, everyone around the team to help him out. So like having him perform in a stable environment for once with the whole season under him would be really nice. But from a league perspective, I really want to see how Hakim Ziyech does. I think he's like, from what I've seen in highlights or like in Champions League, he's a very carefree footballer. Like not carefree, but like he's very creative and like very like he has an eye for the magnificent. He doesn't really shy away from taking shots from anywhere. His passes are like very good on the eye. So could just be a very
I
good
feel
footballer
like
to watch.
he is more of a Mahrez player from 2016, 2017. Like similar to Mahrez. Like that's what I feel with the highlights.
Mm-hmm. Well, for sure, yes, that is really very.
But I think Hakim Ziyech might have a better passing range than Mahrez, because I think he takes positions in the right hand side and he just like whips in the ball in the box, the other to
Exactly.
the other
Yeah,
person on
yeah,
the
He's
yeah.
left
more of
He
a
flank.
gets
So
on the
passer.
box.
yeah.
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 That's wonderful. Well, if you ask me, I want to see if Phil Foden will finally become a starter this season for Manchester City. We've been hearing about him for so many years. I want to see if he can move on and establish himself in the team now. So I think it is high time that he did that. So, but on that note, I think we'll now do our Premier League predictions. So we're kind of, because we know there's 20 teams. I don't want to do all 20 teams. I don't think we have the time for that. So we're going to do it kind of differently. We've already picked our champion for prediction. That's Liverpool. So we've already done that. We know our top four. That's going to be Manchester City, Chelsea, and United. So we've done that, and that's in that order, I think, as well. So we've got four. So let's look at Europa and relegation, and then the rest of them nobody cares about who finishes mid-table and stuff. So Europa League. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to all fans of clubs who are in that middle table zone, but yes. Nonetheless, others. Let's start with you. Let's talk about Europa. Who do you think is going to finish fifth, sixth, seventh? Let's assume
Fifth
that
would
the cup
be
winners are going to come from the top seven. So fifth, sixth, seventh.
Yeah, fifth would be Arsenal for me,
Mm-hmm.
and because of Arteta, he has been like brilliant for them. And sixth would be a little confusing for me with Everton and Wolves. I don't know who to choose, so I would go for both.
Okay. So that will be a sixth and seventh. Okay. So you're predicting that Spurs are not going to finish
Yeah,
in the.
yeah, nope.
Wow. All right. That's good. Pushkar, I know you picked United to finish fifth. And then Spurs to finish fourth. That was your prediction.
Yeah.
So,
Let's mix it up a bit, right?
who do you think is going to finish sixth and seventh?
Sixth might be Arsenal, but I think the place, like the fight for fourth, is still going to be close. It's pretty unpredictable. But sixth for Arsenal, and the same like Wolves and Everton, between Wolves and Everton for seventh.
So who do you pick between the two?
I would go with Wolves
Wolves.
because they do not have Europa League this season. They had to manage that as well last season.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a number of fixtures.
Yeah. Sahil, who do you think is going to finish?
I would go fifth for Arsenal, sixth for Wolves, and seventh for Spurs.
Spurs. All right. Siddhant, fifth, sixth, seventh.
Fifth would be Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
Sixth, I'm thinking sixth and seventh. Basically, I'm confused between Leicester and Everton. I don't think Spurs are going to make the top seven actually. So
Okay.
that's my prediction.
So Everton and Leicester, and nobody picked. Oh yeah, so only one person picked Leicester. Nobody picked Spurs. So I think we know Arsenal are going to finish fifth. Is fifth the new fourth? Because everyone's picking Arsenal for fifth. So we got Arsenal in fifth. And then we got Wolves and Everton, I think, were the ones that featured most. So I think they'll finish sixth and seventh. So no particular order, but I think sixth and seventh would be Wolves and Everton. I think those were the two that I think was picked the most. So that's our prediction for the Europa League spots. We've got Arsenal, Everton, and Wolves finishing in the Europa League spots. And then finally, relegation. Three teams who you think are going to be relegated next season. We'll go reverse this time. So we'll start with you, Siddhant. Who do you think is going to get relegated?
I think first team should be Fulham. I mean, they always play a cameo in the Premier League. They just come and go. I think Aston Villa is again going to struggle this season.
Mm-hmm.
They survived last season because of the managerial crisis at Watford. Till the last two games, I think Villa was set to get relegated and Watford was set to survive. I think again they are going to struggle. And the third team I would say is Southampton. I mean, Pretty much, I think Ings ran the show last season, especially the second half of the last season. Can't expect miracles from him every time. So I think those are my three relegation
So
candidates.
it's Aston Villa, Fulham,
Fulham,
and the
Southampton.
Southampton. That's your pick. All right, Sahil, who do you pick?
So I agree with Fulham. I think Fulham will go down.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I think Newcastle United are going to go down. They have a lot of instability at the club. The ownership thing, there's no more signings made. So I don't think Steve Bruce is a good manager, and they got very lucky last season. Like they don't have a good goal scorer. Joe Linton, Dwight Gale, Andy Carroll, not good enough for a top flight club. And I think third one, it's either West Brom or Aston Villa because I think Villa need to strengthen defensively. They are good at attacking wise, but they need. But I think they did that towards the end of last season. Like they were good after a restart. So I think West Brom will be the third one.
That's wrong. No, just so you know that in terms of Newcastle, they might be signing Phil Jones. So then I think you can predict they're going
Yeah,
to
that
be
just
relegated
confirms
if
it
they
then.
sign Phil Jones. Okay, Pushkar. So I'm sorry, Sahil, you picked Aston Villa, West Brom, and Fulham.
No, West Brom, Fulham, and Newcastle.
Oh, Newcastle. Sorry, yes,
Yeah.
Newcastle. That's your pick.
Yeah.
And Pushkar, your picks?
I think Fulham and West Brom obviously going down.
Okay.
I think it might be a toss-up between Aston Villa and Newcastle, like Grealish versus Saint Maximin. Like
Okay.
whoever performs keeps their club up.
Oh,
It's
okay.
kind of that situation. But if I had to guess, I would say Aston Villa are probably going down.
Okay.
Their play is very disruptive.
All right. Well, maybe they might get another VAR reprieve and stay up. You never know how those things work. Like last year again.
Yeah, that happened as well. Yeah.
Adarsh, your picks for 3.
I would go with Southampton,
Mhm.
Fulham, and West Ham. Another David Moyes disastrous season. So I'm totally expecting him to get this team down to League One. So, yep, these three.
Championship. League One is below
Sorry,
championship.
yeah, Championship.
People keep
Right.
asking me to include another certain Fox in the Box member on these shows, but I think we have others already. We don't need to include that person because he's in the job of 2 right now. Like he's just okay. But nonetheless,
What are your predictions?
sorry?
What are your predictions?
Mine, it's for litigation. Well, I think for 5th, 6th, 7th, I think it pretty much picks itself. I think Arsenal, Spurs, and probably I would go with Wolves. I think we'll finish 7th. I think that's going to be my 5th, 6th, 7th. As far as relegation, I think Fulham will definitely get relegated. I don't think West Brom or Leeds will get relegated. I think they both will survive. They're joining them. I think it will probably be Newcastle for sure, and the third team I'm kind of torn between Southampton and Crystal Palace because I think Palace have signed a few players, but I think Zaha wants to leave. So I'm not sure if but we keep saying that about Palace every year, and every year they find a way.
Exactly.
So it's difficult to say what's going to happen, but
Messi 2.0.
yeah, it's difficult to say what's going to happen. But we'll know more when the season starts. But I think our prediction as a whole, I think, is that Fulham are definitely going to be relegated. I think 2 people picked West Brom, and I think 2 people picked Newcastle. I don't. Others you didn't pick Southampton, did you?
Yeah, I picked Southampton,
Okay.
Fulham, and West Ham.
Last time. So I think. Oh no, I don't think anyone. I think only Siddhant, only you picked Newcastle, right? I don't think Pushkar you
No,
I
didn't
did.
pick Newcastle.
No, I picked Arsenal.
Sahil picked Newcastle.
Pushkar didn't pick Newcastle, right? Yeah, these things are always confusing. Yeah, so I think it's Southampton. That is our prediction. So yeah,
I think it's always going to be very close. Like it's always like 13 to 20th is going to be so close on points towards the end of the season. Someone pulls up.
yeah, it's never easy
I-
to predict. But I think
I think from these predictions you can make out the last 5 very well.
yeah,
Basically,
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But I'm surprised to see you guys mentioning Southampton because they have a good setup. They are very decent defensively. They have added, I think, some midfielder as well to boost the ranks.
well, you just never know. I mean, nobody thought Bournemouth were
I-
going to get relegated.
I think there's also a stat that ever since Southampton lost 9-0 to Leicester, they won more points than Leicester in the league since then. So I think they turned a new
Exactly. The
page.
second
So
half was really
yeah.
well. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think they should be fine. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, Brighton could be in there as well. Like they have they do have some good players, but like Bournemouth, they're a team that is very good on the eye, but not necessarily always good at the back. You just never know.
And that's why I also picked as Danny Ings to one of the players to watch. I think he might turn Southampton a bit around.
Obviously, Liverpool B team would be the one Liverpool want to stay in the league, but yeah,
I
that's the
I
hard
think
fact.
it's the other way around these days. Like we are selling to Southampton and Bournemouth.
I know. They're using them.
You got your best player from Southampton, so you must not say like that, I guess.
Well,
No, I don't say it like that, but it was in the recent seasons. Like it's not a B team exactly.
to
No.
be fair, you're not a big
I certainly was.
you're not a big club until you can find a couple of Premier League clubs to be feeder clubs for you, like United used to do with Everton and Sunderland, sell players to Everton and Sunderland. That's kind of what we're doing. That's yeah. So all Liverpool are doing is not exactly completely out of the realm of.
Yeah, but the David Moyes import didn't turn out to be that good, right?
Well, I mean, no, you don't have to buy from them; you have to sell to them. See, that was very.
Yeah.
I think we're digressing a bit.
Yes, I don't think we ever bought any players from Everton, though. I think the only
We got Fellaini from there. Don't forget.
Well, no, I'm saying under Sir Alex.
Spiderlin was
I don't think Sir Alex is
Everton.
Everton player.
We got
Rooney.
Rooney from him.
Rooney.
Yeah, that's right, Rooney, right? Yeah. He came
Forgot
on
Rooney.
will not be impacted. Okay, but sorry, on a serious note, I think so our relegation picks are Fulham, Newcastle, and Southampton. That's what we're saying. But we could also include West Brom and the other one was Aston Villa. Yes, those are 5 teams that any 3 of those 5 teams could be relegated. So we'll see how that goes. So that's it for today. Thank you, and for this series. So thank you so much once again, Adarsh, Pushkar, Sahil, and Siddhant for staying with us and doing this series. I really appreciate the time that you guys took, and thank you so much for being here. It was a real pleasure and honor to have you guys on the show and give your opinion. I really, really enjoyed it. I hope it was fun for you guys. It definitely was fun for me to hear from you guys.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
so fun.
having
Thank you
us.
for having us.
I know, and all the little
Yeah.
digs that you guys get a chance to take. Normally it's just comments on Facebook. Now you can actually make them in person. So
I know.
so really,
Watch football with
Make them on face.
This is much better.
yes, I know this is definitely
Yeah.
better. Guys, please remember to like, share, and share this video if you enjoyed it. Please do that with the series as well. Also, remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're looking to hit 50 subscribers. I hope that when I log back onto my YouTube account at the end of this week, maybe we'll have 50 subscribers on YouTube. We'll see about that. But please do that if you have a chance. I really appreciate that and your support in growing the channel. If you do want to join the Fox in the Box group, a really wonderful group of sports-minded people to discuss stuff about sports, make banter like these guys here. There are links in the description. Feel free to join in. And as I said in the last show, when you join Fox in the Box, you might even get a chance to come on the show. So, because that's normally where we go to pick experts. So, if that's something they're interested in, that's a good way to get started as well. So please do that. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Links are in the description. So do that as well. We're looking to grow our social media following as well. So feel free to join. And we'll see you again soon with another episode. Premier League season starts this week, this Saturday, I believe. The first games are live. So watch out for that one, and we'll be back with new reactions and news as it happens. But thank you so much, everyone, for watching, and stay safe and have a good rest of your weekend. And we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for listening to that episode of Late Night Football. We need your help to grow this channel, so if you've been enjoying the show thus far, please do like and subscribe to this channel and share it with your friends, family, colleagues, neighbors, drinking buddies, fellow football fans, and anybody else you know or don't know. We'd really appreciate it. Please also follow us on Twitter and Facebook via the links in the description below and spread the word about us. Take care.